Okay, I would like to call us back from closed session. It is 6:03, and I want to welcome everybody to our meeting this evening. We have nothing to report out on our closed session items, so I'm going to move on to this announcement. This meeting is recorded for live streaming and archiving on the district YouTube channel for your convenience. Next is our pledge, and our students that sit up at the dais, I'm going to have you guys do it because school's almost over and I don't know when I'll see you. So I'm going to give you guys the honor of leading us in the pledge if you don't mind.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on to the approval of our agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Thank you. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Mrs. Martinez.
Absolutely. President Seda?
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs?
Yes.
Trustee Moss?
Yes.
And Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and at this time, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Wright, and we're going to move forward with the installation of our new board member.
Right. Good evening. On April 11th, the Solano County Registrar of Voters facilitated a special election to fill the Area 5 Trustee Governing Board seat. The Area 5 voters selected Amy C. Hirsch as their trustee to represent their area. So at this time, I want to welcome Ms. Lisette Estrella Henderson, Solano County Superintendent of Schools, to administer the oath of office.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Wright. So I will invite Ms. Hirsch to come on up. Wonderful. Very good. I will begin with starting with state your name. And so when I start, don't say state your name. Okay. If you will raise your right hand, please. And I state your name.
Amy Hirsch,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Very good. With the authority granted to me by the Constitution of the State of California, I proclaim you duly elected and installed to assume the duties as a member of the governing board of the Benicia Unified School District, representing Trustee Area 5.
Thank you so much.
Thank
So-
you, Ms. Hirsch, and I will turn it over to the president.
Thank you. So at this time, we're going to take a 5-minute intermission. We have some snacks up here. We didn't know how many people to expect, so there's not many. But just to congratulate Amy, and then we'll get you back up here on the dais. So 5-minute break. I'm going to call us out 6:08.
Should we get a quick picture with the board?
Sure.
Want to get in there?
Calling us back at 6:14 from our little break, and again, congratulations, Mrs. Hirsch. And we're gonna roll right into the rest of the meeting. So next up is our highlight, and we have Robert Semple Elementary and Liberty High School, Mrs. Moore and Mrs. Lewis. If you join us and share the good stuff that's going on. Thanks. Wow, that's great.
Got it.
Yes, hi.
Good evening. Christina Moore, principal at Robert Semple, and I'm here with.
Kimberly Lewis, principal of Liberty High School.
Thank you for having us tonight. Really appreciate the opportunity to highlight our schools and some of the neat things that we have going on between our schools. So we're going to dig right in. We have titled this presentation, Building Bridges and Building Community. Robert Semple is not far from Liberty High School. And Kim and I have bridged ourselves a long-standing friendship that is also centered on our passion for education. And you do the flipper? You do the flipper?
I got it.
Okay,
There you go.
great. And so anyway, we wanted to start this off with that, getting to understand us a little bit that in that capacity, which led us into wanting to evoke greatness, passion, and build leadership capacity in our students. Obviously, I have elementary. She has continuation high school. And we have seen many ways in which we can evoke greatness in both of our students. And so I'm going to turn this over to Kim to the next slide, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to
First,
flip-flop.
I'll get to the mic. First, I want to draw your attention to that photo. Light years ago, Miss Moore and I actually got our admin credential and our masters together. And so we figured we can model education. We are lifetime learners. And so modeling us together, this partnership, hopefully is now an example for our students. And we look much younger back there. So at Liberty High School, we have an internship program, a program called Learning Through Interest. And coming out of the pandemic, I really struggled to find places where we can put students that were safe, put students back into the community, that because, coming out of the pandemic, people still had some reservations putting interns and just volunteers into their place. Even the library was apprehensive. So I reached back to Miss Moore, leaning into our relationship, our past relationship, and say, we have some kiddos that are interested in becoming teachers. They're interested in working with young littles. And so we were able to place students at Robert Semple, and they have come back much wiser, wanting to be, one student is wanting to work with special ed and wanting to get their teaching credential working with young special ed students. So the journey of my student was watching a caterpillar a beautiful butterfly burst, and finding a place because they weren't sure where they could be accepted, and the love that they received from the little ones. I'll get teary-eyed talking to you about how much the Robert Semple littles affected my student. So Tristan, my student, goes up 3 days? Twice a week, and works with, you want to explain the class? Yep, your turn.
Sure. I'd love to.
Sorry, tag.
So we have 3 RISE programs at our school. These are students who primarily have autism, primarily nonverbal. And Tristan was quite nervous to work with these students, and took Tristan in, showed Tristan what the environment looks like, what the expectations are, and Tristan has fallen in as if they have always been there, and is making an incredible difference in the lives of these students. They have built relationships with Tristan. It has really shown us just greatness in students that maybe thought they didn't have that. And so we have a little video to show you. It's 20 seconds. I'd love for you to see this interaction between Tristan. Yep, this interaction between Tristan and the student. We do have permission to share this video, just so you know. No, we do. Mhm. It's really precious. There we go. Seven. All right, let's do it. So, mhm. So this student's been given an opportunity to show his greatness, but also Tristan's greatness.
Another one of the values we have at Liberty is giving back and looking beyond ourselves. Sometimes it's really easy for teenagers to, the world revolves around them, but our students wanted to reach out and how can they do something and give back to the community. Simultaneously, Miss Moore said, we would really love some support if you have any kids to come up and play and learn cooperative play. So we saw an opportunity, one, for my teenagers, for my students to learn to give back to the community, something that's bigger than themselves. And then the youngers to learn how to, our motto was play fair and be kind. And so it was really fun. 2 days, on Wednesdays, a group of students go up. We have t-shirts, they go up and they become either playground pals or basketball buddies. And this idea of they're playing together, they're building relationships with each other. My students come back exhausted because they have so much fun. I don't think the elementary school understands how much my students are affected with joy, working and playing and learning with the youngers out on the playground.
It would only take you visiting my main hallway to see them at the windows asking if the basketball buddies are on their way. It's very cute. So in supporting my teachers in the second grade who had come to me to say, you know, we're doing great in math, but we've got this pool of kids that are really struggling, and it's presenting as more than we can do in the classroom. We don't have math intervention. What do you think? I said, hey, Kim. I said, what do you think about this idea? Can we broach a relationship here? Can we have your kids come up and build some leadership capacity with them, and then also see if we can't help move our students along? And so with that being said, we have Liberty students that come twice a week. They come for about an hour and a half, and they sit in small groups in 3 of my second grade classrooms, and they work some one-on-one, some in small groups with basic foundational skills so that these kids can be really ready to move on to third grade.
If you haven't noticed, we have Nevaeh here as one of our math tutors. Yay. And we want to thank also the district office, Ms. Stephanie Rice and Lisa Golson, for working with our students on Fridays to learn the skills that they're going to take to the elementary schools the following week. So it is a true partnership across the district. Now, our intent first, for at least for Liberty, was to find opportunities for our students to go explore, learn about their interests. But I think it's absolutely blossomed more than that. It is an opportunity for our students to reach back, give back to the community. Often these students are alumni of Robert Semple, and there's a sense of pride now they have. They come back not only exhausted, but excited and rejuvenated. They have a sense of leadership and purpose. And it's not about teaching kids how to make a basket or dribble or understand math foundational skills. It's putting a sense of purpose and fixing some places where they may not have known they needed to heal with joy. So thank you, Robert Semple, and thank you for the kiddos that are saying yes to all the fun things that we do with our partnership with Robert Semple.
Thank you.
Welcome.
What an amazing program. We're lucky that we have this in our district, and hopefully other districts will get this, information and be able to put it into their systems. Liberty students are amazing. I have a big heart for all our students, but Liberty is amazing. And Robert Semple and Christina Moore, just fabulous. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to move on to our reports. Nivea Avalos from Liberty High School, you're up.
My goodness. Anyways. It's a lot. But anyways, good evening, President Zeta, Superintendent Dr. Wright, fellow trustees, and cabinet members. We have been getting ready for graduation. LHS seniors have begun to receive their cap and gowns as well as their senior yard signs. Seniors have been working with our counselors to complete their exit packets. We want to make sure that we have our post-graduation next steps in place. Our math tutoring partnership with Robert Semple is going great, as you guys heard. We have been working with second graders to learn foundational concepts trained by Miss Rice and Miss Golson. We have played math games such as Monster Squeeze and Subtraction Bingo to help reinforce math skills such as getting comfortable with number lines and grids and addition and subtraction. Liberty has created a new art installation on campus. I have curated an art exhibit with the help of Miss Sauter, and I took inspiration from the art exhibit that Liberty High students were in for Arts Benicia and wanted to showcase more of Liberty High students' wonderful art. Our outdoor ed and oceanography classes will be sailing on a replica of the Matthew Turner again in 2 weeks. Dr. Wright, 2 weeks. On board, we will be conducting marine science experiments as well as learning about marine life out in the bay. We have 25 students going, and we look forward to another successful trip. We want to thank all of our mentors that have dedicated their time to work with us this year. And we truly appreciate their willingness to listen without judgment and be there when we need someone to talk to. The mentors have been invited to join us for our senior send-off, and we hope they can all make it. On behalf of Liberty High School, you guys.
When is the send-off? It's okay, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
May 31st, right after practice.
I have to write that down because I need to be there. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, next up is our tag team of Brianna Biniak, the ASB president of Benicia High School, and Jinjin Gao as the VP. Welcome.
Good evening, President Zeta, Superintendent Dr. Wright, fellow trustees, and cabinet members. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Benicia High School has several events planned for students throughout the month intended to provide resources, fight stigma, and raise awareness. The Wellness Center is partnering with the Kyle Highland Foundation to provide access events, such as de-stressing with service dogs or participating in a drum circle. We encourage all students to attend some of the events planned and always reach out for help if needed. Also for this month, we are attempting to encourage students to be on time and present in class by creating awards for those who maintain perfect attendance in May. Last Thursday, April 27th, we hosted an exciting senior versus staff basketball game in the gym. The game went into overtime, and the seniors ended up winning with 2 3-pointers scored in the last 10 seconds. In addition, on Monday, May 1st, it was National Decision Day, so we encouraged all seniors to represent the college or trade school they would be attending. It was really cool to see all the different schools represented by our seniors.
Next week is Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week. So we have few surprises in store to show our teacher and staff at BHS for the appreciation for their hard work and dedication. We also have 2 senior nights that's coming up next week, Tuesday, May 9th, which are baseball and softball. Next week, leadership students will be interviewed incoming freshmen who express interest in joining leadership at high school. We look forward to meeting those future leaders. On May 15th through the 19th will be state testing. hosted for all juniors, so the schedules will be modified to be all 4 block days. Lastly, students at BHS have been working hard all week long to demonstrate how much they have learned this year in their AP classes on their AP exams. Exams will continue next week, and we wish the best of luck to all who is taking the test. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that goodness. It's going to be a busy few weeks for all of you and your students that are at the schools and the teachers, and happy Teacher Appreciation Week coming up. So Navia, Brianna, and Jinjin, you're welcome to leave, although you're welcome to stay as always, but you're welcome to go at this point. So thank you for your presentations. Next, we're going to have our superintendent report, Dr. Damon Wright. You're up.
Good evening, everyone. I want to start off with some acknowledgments. We have great community partners. I want to thank Pizza Pirate, who donated the 21 pizzas for our perfect attendance raffles. Very gracious. I also want to thank the Kiwanis Club of Benicia and also Chelsea Whitney for supporting the operations of the Night of the Stars event that we're having on May 26th to honor our employees of the year for the past 3 years now, and also just all of our staff for all that they do for our students in our community. The Department of Education on May 1st, they recognized the site administration, school principals and vice principals. I'm glad that our principals are here this evening to do a presentation because I do want to thank them for their hard work and everything that they do for our school communities. Our site administrators, they have a tremendous amount of responsibility. It's a challenging era in public education, and they show up every day and they take these challenges head on. They're creative, they're out-of-the-box thinkers, and are willing to take on challenges that many would shy away from if they had the opportunity to. We know that they report to work every day because they believe in education and are willing to fight for students and our staff to make sure that they're successful. So I just wanted to take a moment and just thank them for everything that they do, and we appreciate you. We are also celebrating our teachers, as our student board members shared. Teachers Appreciation Week, thank you for showing up every day. I'm reflecting back to the Listening and Learning campaign I did earlier this year, and the appreciation for the teachers from our parents and our students, it was evident. Students look forward to attending school because they want to interact with you. You foster academic and social growth, and that contributes to their success after graduation. Can't tell you how many Benicia graduates I bump into. I just bumped into one at a job fair down in Long Beach. She saw our sign and she just went crazy and ran over to me. It's like, I can't believe you're here. I'm going into education. Hire me. I'm a science teacher. And it's those type of things. We have doctors, lawyers, journalists, mechanics, contractors, future educators, and that's all because of the work of our team, our teachers. You do a great job, and I know that at times you feel underappreciated, but you serve the students with a smile on your face in our community because you care, and I just wanted to let you know that we need you, and we look forward to continuing down this path together. So this week we'll celebrate our teachers, our administrators, and our support staff. So actually Friday, which is tomorrow, we will show up to each site with some nice cupcakes, fancy cupcakes for you to enjoy, just to show some appreciation and say thank you on behalf of the district. The month of May, more recognitions. We recognize, celebrate, and increase awareness of the rich history and contributions of the accomplishments of our Asian Americans and Pacific Island Americans. And just a historical fact, Google is great. May is chosen for AAPI to recognize the first Japanese immigrant to arrive to the U.S. on May 7th, 1843, and also the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad on May 10th, 1869, where nearly 20,000 Chinese laborers worked in hazardous, even deadly conditions for low wages to construct it. So now you have that, so you have your Jeopardy game, you're ready to go. And AAPI Heritage Month, it honors the contributions of our Asian Americans and Pacific Island Americans, so we celebrate. Today is the first time in several months that we've been a complete governance team. And as a district, we have a lot of important work to do. And in order to accomplish it, it'll take a collective effort of all of us to move our district forward. I just wanted to share that I'm looking forward to our healthy discussions, to our collective thoughts, and setting a direction for our community, staff, and students. Today, we're going to move forward together. Ms. Hirsch, welcome to the team. I just wanted to let you know that I'm looking forward to working with you, collaborating with you on some very important topics. And as a community, we're going to move forward together. We've got some great work planned ahead. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. That was a lot of information it was great information. Thank you for sharing that. Now we're moving to board reports. Do any of my colleagues have anything to share from this last couple of weeks? Yes.
So the weekend before last was so busy with so many events in town. I think many of you were at some or all of them. There was the Benicia Diversity Festival, the BHS car show, and it was beach cleanup. So what I wanted to say was how wonderful it was to see so many people at these events. And the car festival always brings out a huge crowd, and congratulations to Benicia High for that. And I also wanted to welcome Mrs. Hirsch to our board. And now we are 5, and we are all so happy. So welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you. And is there anybody else that has anything to share this? Okay. I just wanted to say that I attended the Solano County Office of Ed puts together every year the best classified staff person per district and the best certificated person, our teachers. And we had 2 teachers that I don't have their name with me, but they got an honor on behalf of the county as the ones that were voted on by their peers, and we're really, really pleased to see that and to be part of that. It was really, really nice. It was nice to see how we have 7 areas, 7 cities within Solano County as districts. So each one picked one of each, classified and a certificated, and they each had little blurbs on video, and it was very heartwarming to see. And we have such amazing teachers. So grateful for what we have. So thank you for that. And the car show, yes, was amazing. The schools did a good job putting that together. Yeah. And that's the only 2 things I had been at this last 2 weeks. And again, glad to have you. Okay, yes?
And if Dr. Gill, can you share with the community who were honored at the event,
Thank
please?
you.
Definitely. Good evening. We had Benicia High School teacher Justin Kappen, and then custodian from Benicia Middle School, Nathaniel Pastor.
Thank you for having those names handy. Sorry I didn't write that down. But yes, we're very grateful and happy for them to receive those awards. We're going to move on now to our comments from members of the public. All functions of the board meeting, including public comments, will take place in person. Members of the public may address the board at a regular meeting on any item within the board's jurisdiction. Speaker cards are available on the entrance table. Please note the item you wish to speak to and submit a card to the board secretary. The board president will call an open session general comments. Comments for the items on the agenda will be called during a specific item. Comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker, or the board may limit the total time to 20 minutes per item with the timer displayed on our monitors. By law, no action may be taken on any item raised during public comment periods, and matters may be referred to staff for placement on a future agenda of the governing board. Please be reminded to keep your comments respectful, as students may be watching our board meeting. Thank you. And we do have one speaker this evening, Jeffrey Pickerel. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board and members of the public. I came last week to address the issue of masking school children. I sent all of you 2 documents. One was a medical study and the other was OSHA regulations regarding protective respiratory protection. And I hope you read it. Trustee Hirsch will be happy to send those along to you as well. In this day when actually even Dr. Fauci is admitting that, oh, well, mistakes were made, I think it's just important to look back, because when they talk about the next pandemic, what would happen, if the CDPH said, oh, mask up the kids again, would you do it or would you question it? The health officer in this county challenged the wisdom of masking in fall of 21, he challenged it. And yet the kids kept the masks on. And it really bothered me, because if I, as an adult, in order to work and be OSHA compliant, have to be medically fitted, have to be medically evaluated, have to monitor my blood oxygen, and have to take the mask off every 30 minutes to use it safely, why wouldn't that be true for kids? It really bothers me. It's like, I just want to see some guardrails, sensible guardrails, and I think a lot of parents feel the same. I've been in touch with now 2 other parents groups in the county. One is Solano County Committee of Safety, and the other is the Vacaville Students Parents' Rights Group. And we want to distribute a survey just to ask parents, hey, what effects did you see from masking? What harms did you see? Because I still see a lot of kids wearing them, and I think it's a false sense of security, and it's one of the psychological impacts of this. So I really hope the board will consider putting this on the agenda, creating a public conversation. I think it's going to make a lot of people feel better, and we can have reasonable safety rails the next time this issue comes up again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pickerel. Okay, we're going to move on now to our consent calendar. Background information on these items is provided by to the board prior to the meeting. A common motion takes place without discussion on roll call vote unless discussed items are requested by the board members. So can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the consent calendar as written.
Second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Mrs. Martinez.
Yes, President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Moss.
Yes.
Excuse me, Trustee Grubbs, I meant to say first, and then Trustee Moss.
Yes.
Trustee Maselli. And were we having Trustee Hirsch vote on this one or not? Until action items?
She wasn't here
Because
during
of those.
this,
Okay, so I
she'll
wanted to just make
abstain.
sure that they understand why she's not going to be voting on
Yes,
this one.
yes.
So
Thank
this
you.
one, she would just abstain.
But then also, I think I'm supposed to introduce Dr. Wright to introduce our,
After we take action.
okay, I apologize. So, yes.
Okay. And so Trustee Moss, you'll be abstaining this one, right?
Trustee Hirsch.
So Trustee, yes, thank you. Thank you. I got to get used to 5 people again.
That's true. So roll call. Oh, we did? Okay. So then, moving on then, Dr. Wright, would you like to do this next introduction?
All right, good evening. Tonight we have the pleasure of welcoming our new vice principal to Benicia High School and also our new school district nurse. After a very rigorous process, it's my pleasure to first introduce Mr. Mark DeMesa as vice principal of Benicia High School.
You can come on up and say a few words if you would like.
Yeah, come on up, Mark. I'm going to read some information about Mr. DeMesa and his background while he stands there and listens. All right, we're very excited to welcome Mark DeMesa as the new vice principal of Benicia High School. Mr. DeMesa has been a public servant in education since 2001, supporting students in multiple capacities. His passion for helping students started when he became an AmeriCorps volunteer and a substitute teacher in North Sacramento. Mr. DeMesa knew his love for education grew stronger when he taught a 4th grade class for the first time. His education and career advanced as a school counselor in 2003, earning his master's degree and PPS credential at Sacramento State. Go Hornets. He started his school counseling profession at West Contra Costa Unified School District until he moved closer to his hometown in Vallejo, accepted a job at American Canyon Middle School in Napa Valley Unified School District, In 2010, Mr. DeMesa helped a small team of teachers, support staff, and administrators open American Canyon High School. Throughout the 15-year commitment at MVUSD, Mr. DeMesa held several key roles that motivated him to pursue a school administration career. He earned his admin credential at Sonoma State University in 2021. Mr. DeMesa is currently finishing his first year at Vice Principal at Jesse Bethel High School in Vallejo. Vice Principal DeMesa's ability to adapt and accept new challenges has made him open-minded and resilient to impact the lives of students, their families, and the community. He believes that the time and gratitude are essential values for him to develop authentic relationships with all stakeholders in supporting the whole child. He also believes that young people need caring adults who can provide structure, high expectations, compassion, and empathy. Mr. DeMesa's goal is to support the learning of well-being of all students and to implement the district's initiatives with fidelity and integrity. Please help join me in welcoming Mr. Mark DeMesa to BUSD as our new vice principal. And Mr. DeMesa, if you'd like to share a couple of words.
Yes, thank you. It is an honor, and I'm so blessed and grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Superintendent Dr. Wright, Board of Trustees, and cabinet members for investing in me as far as being the vice principal at Benicia High School. Thank you to all the Benicia High School leadership, teachers, community members, parents that were involved in the interview and selecting me as vice principal. I'm just so happy and appreciative of the opportunity. I'm really want to shout out to my wife who can't be here today, just for the support, the sacrifice, and my son and my family, my parents and my in-laws and all my friends that have supported me to pursue this opportunity. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has brought me here today, and looking forward to starting on August 1st at Benicia High School as new vice principal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. DeMesa.
I am now pleased to introduce Ms. Michelle DeLello as our new school district nurse. Come on up. And did I say your name correctly, DeLello? Okay. And I'm going to read a couple of words about Ms. DeLello. Michelle DeLello grew up in Benicia from the age of 5. After high school, she attended and graduated from St. Mary's Samuel Merritt Nursing Program and moved to San Diego for 13 years. There she worked at Children's Hospital, met her husband, Jeremy, and had 2 children. In 2020, Ms. DeLello moved to Benicia to be closer to family. For the past 3 years, she has worked at John Muir Hospital in pediatrics, both the pediatric and neonatal ICU units. We are very excited to have Ms. Michelle DeLello join Benicia Unified School District. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to say a couple of words.
I just want to say thank you very much, and I really especially want to thank Terry for bringing me into this opportunity, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you so much for being here, and welcome. All right, now we're going to go on to presentations and informational items. Dr. Beetson, you are up.
Thank you. Good evening. This first presentation I have this evening will be very quick. It is just an update that is required by law. Back in 2001, we approved the Elementary Secondary Emergency Relief, otherwise known as ESSER 3. It was one of the many grants that we received from the state of California. We used that to, there we go. We used that funding to help with instructional learning loss, mental health supports, and some professional learning. It was a plan that was approved back in 2021, sorry. And the requirement is to bring it back to you every 6 months just for an update. We did do an update. There we go. We approved it in 2021. We did an update in April of 2022. We did a revision, a slight revision in May of 2022. We've updated it a couple of times since, and so today I'm just bringing it back to say we haven't made any changes and we are on track to spend the entire amount by the deadline of September 2023. So I just needed to do that presentation because that's part of the requirement.
Thank you. Does anybody have questions or anything? No? Thank you so much for the presentation. It's good to know we're on track
Probably
to
the
spend the
shortest one
money.
I've ever done.
You're right. That's an inside joke. All right, we're going to move on to action items. We have 4 this evening. First one's consideration and approval of the adoption of the curriculum for elementary science, kindergarten through 5th grade. Mrs. Rice, hello. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Stephanie Rice, Director of Education Services, and I am here for your consideration and hopeful approval of curriculum for our kindergarten through 5th grade, all elementaries in Benicia Unified. The curriculum that I'm bringing forward to you today is Mystery Science, and it is a current supplemental program that we're using across our district currently. Scott Forsman is our current adopted program that we brought in 2004. And then with the Next Generation Science Standards in 2013, we looked into adopting programs, but as sometimes occurs, you have standards, you have frameworks, and the curriculums don't necessarily catch up to what's being measured. So as a system, we decided not to move forward with adoption. We brought in math and, as you know, English and language arts, and we decided to stay with our current curriculum, but bring in some supplements. Mystery Science was not on the state approved list at the time because they were not a complete program. But now Mystery Science, and we've been using it across the board, has lessons for kindergarten through 5th grade. It addresses all the Next Generation Science Standards. Not only addresses the standards, but it also addresses the model of the Next Generation Science Standards, which has the students doing science and engineering, cross-cutting concepts, meaning that we're tying in life science, earth and space, and physical science. And also it takes them to that next level where they are doing project-based learning towards the end. Why I'm bringing this forward now is it's been our supplement, but when looking at usage across the district, when meeting with teachers, I've been meeting these past 2 weeks with teachers from all grade levels at elementary, and we would like to bring forth Mystery Science forward as our adopted curriculum because, one, it's really engaging to our students. It's accessible for our students, but not just our students, for our teachers, our veteran teachers, and brand new to elementary. A positive piece of this is the way it's presented is that you can be the pilot of the lesson and you can use the supplemental videos with Mystery Doug, the scientist, to be your wing person. Or if you're brand new to it or new to the grade level or in teaching, you can have Mystery Doug be your pilot and you can be the co-pilot in teaching. The other things that have grown since we first started using Mystery Science is that it not only addresses all the standards through hands-on experience, it also has added on extension activities for our students, such as there are mini lessons that teachers can play within 10 to 30 minutes, but also posts the questions so kids can dig deeper as their interest lies there. The other thing that's really exciting and you might want to check out if you haven't went on Mystery Science yet, so today for May 4th, may the 4th be with you, you look at the curiosity jar, and what that is every week students and or classes can submit questions that they're interested in finding the answer to. And Mystery Science picks one a week that they create a video of and then put back out to the students. And today's is, could you make a real lightsaber? And it takes them through the background and explorations. The videos stop. They ask interactive questions. The teacher then, it gives the teachers ideas on, you can do a turn and talk, ask your partner this, so the teacher can teach into that. It's just really exciting and hands-on. And honestly, I've not seen science taught as much as it is now using this program that was our supplement as we have going on now. I've also spoken with middle school teachers and high school teachers that have kids within the elementary classes who have been really excited to see what the students are coming home talking about from experiencing Mystery Science and Mystery Doug. So I'm bringing this forward to you today because we would like to have a unified approach to a much more current curriculum that focuses on the next generation science standards. And that's why I'm here today with Mystery Science. Any
Thank you
questions?
for the presentation. Anybody have any questions about
Sounds
the
good.
curriculum? Okay.
Thank you so much. I was wondering what the average science score was last year. I think it's only in
On CASP?
on
Or
CASP.
on CASP, we were in the, I want to bring it back, I think 49th percentile overall. So yes, low. So I could add on to that if you would like to hear about that in our plan. So not CAST, but CAST, the California Assessment on Science, we give to 5th grade, 8th grade, and we give once in high school. And we typically give it to 11th grade, but this year will be 11th and 12th as we didn't do that last year. With that said, coming out of COVID and that being a baseline, we're definitely, and I'm definitely monitoring those scores to then reflect, will this program be enough for all grades K through 5, or will we need to looking at a particular grade range to come back to the table to pilot and look at a program? Possibly. The CAST, as you know, Ms. Grubbs measures really kindergarten through 5th grade, and I speak to you as a former 5th grade teacher. But with that said, this program may be what we need throughout because our scores are coming right out of COVID. Also, it might be that we end up keeping this and coming back to the table for a grade range like 4-5. I'm not sure yet, and I don't want to just land on the CAST scores at this time because we're still coming back from COVID. To add on to that, with this program also being a program where a teacher can be the complete pilot or the co-pilot, it also allows for them the time to really go deep into our reading, writing, math that we've really put a highlight on coming back out of COVID. So that's again what the teachers have brought to the table, asking that this be our consistent program for now unless I have to come back and have them dig deeper due to our scores as we share those out. So yes, that is on the table.
Thank you. I have one more question, and that was, how are the 5th graders transitioning into middle school science?
So from the feedback from our 6th grade science teachers like Miss Tuttle and Miss Shishito Bailey, actually really strongly. I mean, we had some dips obviously coming out of COVID, but pre-COVID where we had this curriculum, they saw a much higher engagement in science, and that's been the feedback from middle and high school. The teachers are saying we want kids excited about science, wanting to do science, not necessarily being able to rattle off the scientific facts, but really how do they engage, think, and talk about it. And I had the conversation, actually, it was right before we went out for COVID with Miss Tuttle as I was working with that team, and she's had to up her game as a middle school teacher because the kids are so inquisitive, where we had to brainstorm. They had so much to ask and talk about. And I know that's not just coming from science, also it was coming from 5th grade teachers in engaging in dialogue through like our English language arts and history social science projects, as I look at you, because seeing your class when I was in there. But we actually had to come up with a way, because she was like, I don't even know how to get to the meat of our lesson because they have so many questions that they want to dig deeper. So we came up with an I wonder wall where kids are as they're thinking of things, they're putting it up there so that kids can then go back and respond. And she says, I've never had that before. Before it was much quieter, like more crickets, and now they're just ready to jump in. So I can't tell you it's all because Mystery Science, but Mystery Science had been in place for a few years as a supplement. But how we're preparing our kids to just investigate, talk, and just wonder has really increased. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, so we're gonna move into the voting portion of this, and so can I get a motion, please?
I'll move to approve the adoption of the curriculum Mystery Science for elementary science, grades kindergarten through 5th grade.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Moss. Yes. Trustee Maselli. And Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Okay. That was your first one. Okay, next up is consideration and approval of the school plans for student achievement. Dr. Beatson.
Excellent. Well, I am really excited to invite our wonderful principal team to come on up to the podium. They're going to do the bulk of the presentation. Just to remind everyone that the school plan for student achievement is developed at each school site. It's done in conjunction with the school site councils, and it's really to support the academic and social emotional performance and wellness of all students. What I will tell you, and that you will notice in all of the plans, is that the site goals and the actions are very much aligned, not only with each other from school to school to school, which is important when we have multiple elementary schools that feed into one middle and one high school, but also with our district plans. And so we work collaboratively together throughout the year to look at what those goals are, what our targets are, and then what needs to happen at each school site to bring that to life, if you will. Ms. Martinez, could you put up the... Oh, sorry. Thank you. And so tonight, really, we wanted to just share the highlights with you. All of the entire school plans are attached to your board packet. Each principal will highlight one or two of the strategies that they're going to implement. Of course, if you have questions about further information that you want, please ask and let us know. And then we're hoping that you'll approve the site plans as written. And again, just about the development process, they are very much in alignment. The template that we use is put out by the state, so that's why the format is the same across. They have really turned into mini LCAPs. If you read through them, the questions are very similar to some of the things we have to write in the LCAP. The other piece that is included this year, as you know, because we have some identified gaps both from the state and the federal level, called Program Improvement, Differentiated Assistance. We have some new acronyms here called CSI and ATSI. Each school plan is really targeting and focusing on those particular areas and student groups, and so they've called out that data as well. And then there are the goals and actions based on feedback. They did feedback with their sites as well. And so it looks like Mrs. Moore is up first.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for that great introduction. Also to note that the elementary principals, we work collaboratively at a smaller level as well. And so we work together on our site plans to align our goals and strategies. Of course, there are things that are different amongst the sites because our sites are different. I have the pleasure of speaking to the SEL goal, the social emotional learning goal. Just note that this goal is around, and I'm looking at my phone, I apologize. We're used to using that, so I apologize. Our social emotional goal is around developing social and emotional skills in a sense of belonging amongst our students, very important and top priority for us. Some of the ways in which we learn about this and how our students are feeling in school and about school is multiple measures, traffic through, in conversations and relations through the office, teacher feedback, our wellness technician, and then also surveys that we implement, both formal and informally. And one of the biggest ones is our PASS survey, which has given us a ton of feedback, lots of great feedback, actually. We all are super excited on a scale of green, I believe it's yellow, orange, and red. Of course, you always want to score in the green, that we can all celebrate that we are scoring in the green. Upon digging a little further, we know that there are groups or students that are scoring in the red, and there is work and plans in place to be addressing that and notating that. But how we have address that globally is we're very proud to have warm welcomes in the morning. We have protected SEL time in our classrooms. We have wellness technicians that man our wellness centers at all of our sites 5 days a week. We have special friends. We have Second Step. We have school psychologists. We have recess buddies at many of our sites, to name just a few of the strategies we have to provide support for our students and an opportunity for them to feel a sense of belonging. So pass that off.
Thank you. And the elementary principals are going to divvy up the
Yes.
goals.
Of the 4 goals, I have SEL.
Good evening, board and the public. My name is Rhonda Fleming, and I'm the principal at Mary Farmer. And I have the pleasure tonight to talk about our mathematics goal, getting our students to not only be able to calculate, but to reason, to think, to be able to justify their thinking. And our school mission and vision, where all students achieve at their highest potential. Speaking for Mary Farmer, we've done a lot of work with our math goal from this current year. If you look at our data up there for math, our goal is to get all of our students to be meeting or exceeding. Last year's CASP data, we had 61% of our students meet or exceed that goal. And so we know we have work ahead to improve and increase that number. But when you dig a little deeper in our data, you will see that we have only 37% of our students with disabilities that met or exceeded that goal. And that's the work, and that's why equity is embedded in every single goal, because we have to dissect the data to really look at which student groups are moving forward, which student groups are not, and what do we need to do differently to make sure that that doesn't just remain something on the wall, but it actually is a reality. I am proud of the work that we did this year. It was a lot of making sure that we're focusing on our essential standards, standards that we have been prioritizing because of the depth that is needed and what's going to carry over as they move into the next grade level. Walking into classrooms at my school site, I see students talking, engaging in collaboration, teachers planning to ensure that there's whole group instruction, but there's also opportunities for small group instruction. And that this year we actually delved a little deeper and looked at students that were not moving forward and identified focus students. What do we need to know about that student if they're not moving forward in math? And how does it connect to maybe how they're doing socially, emotionally, how they're doing as readers, but looking at the whole child? So when we think about what do we have to do to move forward, we don't just want to look at a few percentage points. For our students with disabilities to increase by 5% isn't enough. Doors will be closed for them if we don't respond in an urgent way. And so we are pushing it to make sure that we increase that percentage by at least 10 percentage points. And we're going to continue to do what we've been doing, but where we have to go deeper is with data analysis. We have to call out the names of the students that are not making the progress. We have to look and think about what do we know about them, what are they showing us, what can they do, and figure out what is it going to take for them to reach the same goal as all of the rest of our students. So just a little bit about the work we've done this year and where we're headed next school year.
Thank you.
Questions? Thanks.
I think we've got Matthew Turner next.
Good. Next up is Steve Slater with Matthew Turner.
Thank you. And good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here. And I'm talking about English language arts. And, as a team, again, we're emphasize, how hard we've worked together as an elementary team and with our Ed Services Department and our site council at Matthew Turner to put these goals together. It's been a collective effort. And focusing on for Matthew Turner with improving, language arts. And one thing I would have to say, a real strength for us is our cohesiveness as a team. And it is a team effort working together with all our students to get that growth. And I would say together, a culture of learners looking for growth, and that's going to make us better. So one of the things that we start from day one is just promoting first best instruction and how important that is, and that we're in alignment throughout our grades. For that, making sure the curriculum is meaningful, substantive, and engaging and challenging for students. And then also focusing on that differentiation piece, making sure that every student is challenged at their just right level. And that's really important, that we continue to just have that monitoring progress throughout the year, from day one, and coming back to it at our staff meetings and our leadership meetings, and also bringing it to site council as well. And one thing I would say, a real area that really sees some great growth, proud of our staff in their collaboration with this, is the small group instruction. If you go and you visit our classrooms, seeing a teacher at working with the group of 3 or 4 students, and really working with the group on right at their level, and then having other students engaged in other work regarding language arts, and that's difficult to do when a teacher is tied up giving that targeted instruction, and then having the other students doing something that is just the right rigor at the time. So that's something that we're working on, and doing those small groups at least 4 times throughout the week. And then the classroom visits are really important. Something that we've noticed is, like yesterday, having our first grade teachers visit the second grade classrooms after school and looking at their writing, and a couple things that makes them realize, okay, this is where we're heading. This is where I need to get our students, but also it's making them seem like, wow, look at where I had these students last year, and look how much growth there is. It is pretty amazing to see, our students in kindergarten, TK, working on opinion writing, and then seeing it all the way in 5th grade, when you're taking multiple sources and building building a writing piece that has taken a lot of work, and so it's been rewarding. So that's the plan, and we're just going to work really hard to get that growth. So thank you, everyone.
This book. Hi, I'm Melanie Buck, principal of Joe Henderson Elementary, and we 4 principals sat together on a Sunday for hours to bang out these like 64-page documents, and so we appreciate you guys giving us a chance to share little snippets. I am charged with sharing some of the work that we're doing for equity. You hire us, and we are change agents, and we take that very, very seriously. We are unapologetic when it comes to kids and their success. And I was reading the statement up there where all students achieve at their highest potential, engaging, inspiring, and challenging. We take that very seriously. Our staffs take that very seriously. So our charge this year is actually a little bit easier because the district came together and created an equity team and an equity statement. And the cool thing about that is that it's something that we can hang our hats on. Teachers feel empowered to take risks in terms of supporting all students. And when we say all students, we have to mean that all students need to succeed, but especially shining a light on those who are historically underserved. And how can we bridge that opportunity gap? Rhonda shared a little bit about the percentages and setting a higher goal to achieve for ELA and math. And focusing on equity, that's the overarching umbrella, because if we can't focus on not just equity, but diversity, inclusion, equity, and a sense of belonging. If our students don't feel that they belong at school, and our staff and our families, then the rest of the 3 goals are a moot point. So a couple of things we're focusing on is our district, all of our district elementary schools will be trained in restorative justice, restorative practices. It's a huge charge, and we're really excited about that. A lot of staff meetings are going to be dedicated to that this next year, and it's a multi-year plan under Dr. Ovick, which is very cool. voice, listening to student voice, listening to family voices that may not be heard. That's a really big one. And then that connection between the district equity team and the site equity team in how we're working. So we're really excited to move the needle this year. Great stuff. That's your elementary team's report.
All right. Good evening. Lindsay Dalsky, principal at Benicia Middle School. The common thread throughout our strategies and goals is to know our students early and often. It is important that we continue to strengthen our advisory program, which will be entering into its third year, provide ongoing training and support to teachers around best practices to support adolescent development and cultivate classroom communities. Meet students who are chronically absent to identify the barriers they're experiencing, and also meet with students through advisory with a focus on their academic goals. In line with the students' goals, provide teachers with additional training and support digging into the NWEA data to identify student needs. Lastly, you've heard this kind of a common thread along with the elementary schools, expand on our restorative practices with specific learning modules to provide the needed intervention to help resolve conflict, improve behavior, and increase student forums to allow for more student voice, which will help us know our students early and often. Right. Thank you.
Good evening. Once again, my name is Kimberly Lewis. I'm the proud principal of Liberty High School. Liberty High School goals are directly aligned to the LCAP and our WASC goals. We are continuing going to be looking at our attendance. How can we get students understanding the why behind students are not coming to school? We're continuing to work on the sense of belonging. How can we build community? And I have to give a big thank you and a shout out to Dr. Beatson. As I was finishing my single plan for student achievement, I was notified that I am now a CSI school, and I'm like, I don't understand. So she helped me, calmed me down, held my hand, and worked with me to, one, understand what it is. We've been identified along with a good group of continuation high schools in Solano County for our graduation rates. And so working with Dr. Beatson, helping me formulate an understanding of the process, what are some goals that we can do, and bringing this back to my staff, who I'm incredibly proud of because I paused, but they kept going. Just an opportunity to really develop strong, intensive, individual learning plans that align for the specific student. And it will go beyond just credit recovery. We're looking at the whole child holistically, understanding the why for the attendance. Do you feel you belong at school? Because we know all those are the components for graduation rates. It's not just one silver thing that's going to thread through. It's going to be a whole bunch of rainbow lines to get the students across the stage. So I am proud of my staff for being more data focused, understanding how the data works, but also keeping that student in the center of our work. So thank you, Dr. Beatson, for taking me off the cliff and seeing an opportunity where we really will dig in and understand who our students are. And they are not just a credit number. Thank you.
Good evening. Yes, Educator of the Year event, that's right. Yes, there's been lots of great events lately. Well, I'm gonna call your focus to one of our goals. Our goals have stayed fairly consistent because with our WASC accreditation cycle, being on a 6-year accreditation, our critical growth areas that WASC calls out for us stay consistent during that time, but yet we continue to set the mark so that we're moving forward and setting new goals for improvement within our WASC areas as well, and then making sure we are aligned with LCAP. So I'm going to call your attention to our second goal, which is our data-driven cycle of improvement. With that, we're really focused on college and career readiness because that just captures so many different things that we're working on. So we really set a new goal within our data-driven cycle of improvement because we moved to Aries for our student information systems. That has several new features that we were able to take advantage of. One of those was academic plans, and saw that in the training and got very excited about what that meant for communicating with our students and our parents in terms of setting goals for themselves during high school and beyond. It fits in very well with our Get Focused, Stay Focused class in 9th grade, where they're starting to learn how to develop that plan, learn what some of those decisions will mean for them, how to change the plan also, because a lot of us do change our minds and our path in life. And so we put into effect this year our use of academic plans in Aries, had a little bit of competition in terms of which class, 9th through 12th, had the best completion rate. Our 12th graders won because by the 12th grade year, their academic plans are finishing up. They've taken all of their classes. But then we also added on our incoming 9th graders, and they now actually have the highest completion rate of their academic plans already, and they haven't even started with us yet. And so really what this is the opportunity to enter in the plan of classes for the upcoming school year and even look forward through graduation. That will tell us, give us data, and then also parents and students can look at the tab in Aries to see where their student is on track to complete graduation requirements, as well as requirements for four-year colleges. And so they can really have informed decisions about what that pathway looks like for them. If they want to change an elective, take a CTE path, an AP class, they're able to see that in real time of what that looks like. And so now that we're in with our first year and students are completing their plans, now our focus for next year is really how we use that data. Disaggregate that to look at our different student groups, use that for tier 2 and tier 3 interventions for students who, if they're not completing, that might be a signal to us that they're not as engaged in their plan and in their time at high school. And so our counselors, our staff can really work with them. And so that's our second goal. We have lots of others going on, but just wanted to highlight that for you. Thank you.
Thank you. So tonight you have a glimpse of what's in our school plans for student achievement. As you heard, the two high schools are directly aligned to their WASC plan because we don't want to have many different plans. We want to be facing in the same direction. And one thing I did want to just emphasize that you heard from our elementary principals was that one of the ways that they are working to close the achievement gap, if you will, from all students to their targeted student groups was for all students, they may say 5 percentage point growth overall, but then for our targeted student groups, we've doubled that. So we're really trying to say we need to have some students learn at a faster rate, and we're going to really emphasize that because otherwise we'll never close that opportunity. Did you have any further questions?
Any questions? Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Beetson. So at this time, I'd like to see if there's a motion on the table. If we can get a motion on the table.
I'll make a motion that we approve the school plan for student achievement for BUSD as presented for all of the schools.
Thank you. May I get a second? Thank you. Roll call, please, Mrs. Martinez.
President Zeta.
Yes.
Trustee Grubbs. Yes. Trustee Moss.
Yes.
Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
And Trustee Hirsch.
Abstain.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to item C, consideration and approval of the 2025-2026 calendar. Dr. Gill, you're up. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, trustees, superintendent, and community members. So it's exciting that in our district, we not only work on the current year and next year, we also worked years ahead so that our staff and parents can plan their vacations and other events as well. So we have a district committee, calendar committee, which is comprised of teachers, classified staff, and some administrators. We met, came up with 3 calendars. And they were ratified by BTA unit members, and BTA unit members came up with this calendar, which is attached to this board agenda. So I'm just bringing this to you for your approval for the 25-26 school year. I also want to take a moment to thank our committee members who are BTA members and CSEA members and a couple of administrators as well on their And also for the parents and staff, our 23-24 calendar is already up on the website, so you can use it. It has all the details such as back to school nights, open house, and all those specifics as well. So if you need to calendar your own schedules accordingly, you're welcome to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions about the calendar? See nobody, everybody say no. Okay, so can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the 25-26 calendar.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Seda,
Yes.
Trustee Grebs, Trustee Moss, Trustee Maselli, and Trustee Hirsch.
Yes. All right, so now we're on our final item of the evening. It's the board member liaisons and representatives to specified committees in Benicia. We had to review it because now we have Ms. Hirsch, and we provided, I believe in your packet, the information about each committee, and the information's there, and we'll fill you in on where we're gonna slide you in. So did you want to talk? Mr.
I think you covered it. And just looking at the vacancies, it's an opportunity to the board to either switch some of the committees or look at the two vacancies, which is the District Curriculum Council, which has a vacancy, and also the Facility Steering Committee also has a open position as well. So I guess it's a board discussion whether Ms. Hirsch goes into those two vacancies or if there's an interest in doing some switching.
Are there any questions from the board members? Okay, so as I see it, we're going to probably be putting you on the district, the DCC and the facilities group, and we'll get you up to date on what's going on with that.
That's great.
Okay, and so we're going to vote on that. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move that. Not sure how to word the motion.
The district curriculum, like we're going to put.
So I move that Ms. Hirsch goes on the. Oh, thank you. On the District Curriculum Council and the Facilities Steering Committee.
Thank you. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. President Seda,
Yes.
Trustee Grebs,
Yes.
Trustee Moss, Trustee Maselli, and Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank
You're on the
you.
committees.
All right, so I'm going to close our meeting at this time at 7:27. Our next meeting is Thursday, May 25th, 2023. And I want to thank Mikey in the back for always being our guy online, getting us up and running. And we will see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much for being here.